Today we are gonna go through the situation of Bitcoin, and I'm gonna show you an interesting strategy to scalp resistances and supports, which so far has worked very well for me. We're also gonna see what is the updated situation with Ethereum and the trade that I set a couple of days ago, as well as an interesting opportunity on XMR or Monero, which is now forming a triangle, and we are going to see that in a moment. So let's start with Bitcoin. We saw a significant drop from the monthly top at 12K, and we went all the way down to 10K. We are still in an uptrend on a weekly basis, so there is nothing to worry about. If we go below 10K, then some concern could arise, but until 8.9, I would say we are still safe. So we can see here the uptrend since the 1st of April, and if we draw this line, you can see we are still within that uptrend. We indeed closed just above that, around 10K. So let's start with the long opportunity that I talked about some days ago. That was at this important level on 4 hour 10,350, where we can see the price bounced several times, and then now we have broke below that. But I entered here at 10,350, and my strategy is to have multiple take profits, of which the first one to be quite close. So I entered here at this local bottom, and then I ride the rise until around 10,500. Then the price went down, but since I reached that first take profit, I moved the stop loss at the entry price, actually at trailing stop. So as the price will go up a bit, also the stop will move a bit from 350 till 10,400 and so on. So not much profit there, but it worked. A small profit, safe trade, no problem. So the idea here was actually an impulse trade. We would start at 10,350 and then go all the way up to at least 10,800, which is an interesting resistance as well. And then I also have some other ways of trading. One of these, which is my favorite one, is scalps. So every time we have an important level, like 10,350, I would use it as a base for a scalp operation. So for example, at 10,350, I subtract just a bit from the entry, just to avoid some spikes, because then we have all these spikes which are actually quite dangerous. I could enter and get stopped right away, so the price could actually reverse. But this way I have a higher chance that the price is going to keep dropping way below the support. So in this case, I entered at 10,350. And then the price actually went down quite a bit. I didn't reach my last target, which was around 9,900, but I got the majority of my profits in this area. So it was a pretty successful trade. I now plan to apply the same scalp principle when we go back to 10,700, which has been another significant level. And in case we go below 9,850, sorry, 9,850, which is another important key level here, as we can see. The price has bounced below and above it several times. So let's see how it goes, and I will keep you up to date with that as well. My next impulse trade, so a bit more longer range, will be if we actually go as low as 9,200. So I will enter in this range between the two yellow lines. And I'm using this range because if the price drops significantly, I will be able to enter at a bit lower price. But actually these spikes we have here are just noise. So it is likely to enter at 9,350. And since this is actually quite an important level, I have decided to set the stop in a conservative way at 8,840, so around here, below this point of accumulation, which it's at the base of this 2-month channel in which Bitcoin is moving between 9K and 12K. Now, if we keep the uptrend going, we could still touch that briefly and then resume the uptrend, probably towards 20K, which was the previous high in 2017. On top of these impulse trades, so taking a very strong support and playing long from there, I am also layering some unleveraged trades, which I actually started longing from 10,800, so here, and I'm currently a bit in loss, all the way down to 9,850. I did so because I believe that even if we have a brief drop now, even just a bit more, we are still in an uptrend, so it is very likely that from here we are going up and up and up, at least until 12K. And at that point, I will most likely take some profits and see how the price is going. As usual, I'm using a layered approach, so I'm starting from here, then I am adding some positions and so on. In this case, the other way around, because I started from the top. But I'm capturing the whole range, confident that we are actually going up. A follow-up on Ethereum. As I mentioned in my previous video, I entered a long position around $210, which was a significant support between 205 and 210, and also at the base of this trend line since the end of the bear market in December 2018. Unfortunately, the price slipped down. This has actually happened because Bitcoin has slipped down itself. And if you actually look at the market cap of Bitcoin, is approximately 9 times higher than Ethereum. That's why it is actually affecting Ethereum, even though Ethereum is at the second position by capitalization. Nonetheless, we still have to see how this goes, where we have, for example, the daily close, to see if we have actually breached the support, if we are going to the 180 support, or we are actually going back above the trend line, which is still very much possible, especially if Bitcoin is stabilizing now. My stop is in fact below 108,800. So even if we reach the second support, I am still covered against the stop. And then the trend may resume or not, but if it doesn't, at least I limit my loss. And as always, I apply a risk management strategy which takes into account not the position size, but the risk size. So if I don't want to risk more than 2% of my account, I reduce my position in proportion to the stop loss. So in this case, we actually have a stop loss which is quite wide, from 210 till 180, which is 12%. So that means that my position size will be reduced by 12%. So even if it stops, I will lose the same amount of money as another trade with a tighter stop but bigger position. If we end up breaching 170, then we are actually risking to go quite deep, but I guess this will happen together with Bitcoin, so the concern is more market-wise than just Ethereum. We could go until 160 or 135. We can see that here there is a big concentration of volume. So we are actually quite likely to jump here. Meanwhile, I've actually anyway bought some Ethereum and leveraged to hedge the trade. That's from my long-term portfolio anyway. We finally have this interesting triangle, I would say symmetric triangle, forming on Monero. You can see that the price has jumped in this range and it's forming this triangle. And this type of triangle could break either upside, if we break this boundary, so we go above, or downside. It is worth noticing that within the triangle we actually have a downtrend. So in my opinion, we are more likely to enter to break downsides, because this oblique resistance is actually pushing the price down. So I'm actually not gonna enter a long trade here. On the other hand, it is important to notice that actually Monero usually follows a USD trend. So the changes versus Bitcoin are mostly insignificant, and it is quite an uncorrelated asset, as a matter of fact, since it's following the USD trend. If we draw a longer term trend line for Monero, we can see a very similar pattern to Ethereum. So we can see that the trend is actually still going up. Sure, if we break, for example, below this significant support at $70, $72, then we could actually enter a downtrend. But I have to say that Monero has been shown quite a reliable asset in terms of price action over time. And it is a very interesting asset to trade because it's unrelated. See you next time, and thank you for watching.